Waiting for this one, and waiting for this one, and waiting for this one, and okay. Alright. Okay, okay. Hey, John here from the Abercast.com. Um, I thought that in. I did this yesterday, I'm going to do it again today. But for International Women's Day, I thought it'd be interesting to um, let's discuss Jack Parsons' essay, Freedom is a Double Edged Sword, specifically the fourth part, which is called Woman Girt with a Sword. And even though it is from a masculine point of view, I think it is interesting. Um, and when I get to the bottom, like when I get to the end of it, it gives me goosebumps. So it's like Wonder Woman, like all over again. So, so if you guys don't know who Jack Parsons is, he was a rocket scientist. He's one of the fathers of American rocketry. He invented, or partially invented, solid rocket fuel. Uh, but the other half of that, I can't see who's. I can't. Okay, so the other half of that is he was a ceremonial magician, and he was a member of the Ordo Templi Orientis, um, which practices Thelema. Which there's this old like wizard named Aleister Crowley who invented this religion basically based on the execution of the will. So he's like, you see like Jay Z or some other like fucking rapper or whatever, and on his sweatshirt it says "Do what thou wilt is the whole of the law," or that's Crowley. Um, but Jack Parsons was an acolyte of Crowley. He was actually a contemporary of Crowley. And at one point in time, Crowley gave him a lodge to run in Southern California. It's called like Grotto or something like that. So, um, Jack Parsons is a super intelligent dude. Fucking rocket, literally, he was a rocket scientist, but he was also like this ceremonial magician. And there's a lot of funny stories about Jack Parsons, like before L. Ron Hubbard became like the Jesus of Scientology. He hung out with Jack Parsons, and they wound up like gang banging this woman named Marjorie Cameron, um, trying to bring up about a new age, the age of Horus. It's actually a great story. I did it on the podcast a while ago, but Crowley, for as serious as a dude he was, Parsons was also a contemporary of H.P. Lovecraft. And when H.P. Lovecraft's stories started to get published, Jack Parsons started to kind of crib Lovecraft. So he wrote this whole thing called the Book of the Antichrist, and it was this. He meant it to be like part four of the Book of the Law, and in it he used a lot of like Lovecraftian stuff. And what happened with it was Crowley wound up kind of turning on him. He was like, "Well, Jack Parsons is still an okay guy or whatever, but he's a little." I think he called him soft-minded, which is funny. The soft-minded bit is, I mean, it is funny. But you listen to like Clyde Lewis and all this stuff, and he was like, Crowley even thought Parsons was a lunatic. He didn't think he was a lunatic. He called him soft-minded because he basically was ripping off Lovecraft. Anyhow, I'm getting far away from where I'm supposed to be. So to talk about International Women's Day, Asher, what's up, bro? talk about International Women's Day, we're going to be dealing with this part of this essay, Freedom is a Double-Edged Sword. It's part 4 by Jack Parsons. And yeah, and when I get to the end, it gives me the goosebumps. So just a little warning. It is to you, woman, beautiful, lost, redeemer of the race, that I dare address this chapter. That which stirs in you now is not madness, is not sin, and it is not folly, but it is life. It is new life and joy and fire that will beget a new race and create a new heaven and a new earth. So we can already see that even though this is all about like how women are great and awesome, um, it's coming from this place of masculinity, which kind of kind of messes it up a little bit. When you were a child, did not the wind speak to you and the sun? Did you not hear the mountain's voice, the voice of the river and the storm? And have you not heard the tidings of the stars and the voices in the silence ineffable? Have you gone naked into the forest with the wind over your body and felt the caress of pain? And have you and your heart has swelled with spring, blossomed with summer, and saddened over the wolf of winter. These things are the covenant, and in them the truth that is forever. And you have sought companions of high-hearted as yourselves, and found them not, save in elusive memories and dreams and songs, for you found a blight over the world, a blight of silence and sorrow. And your companions walked in guilt and shame and fear and hate and sin and sorrow of sin, but you were alone. Ah, there was laughter and a hectic laughter, pleasure, but furtive pleasure, and unsatisfied and unshamed. And now your heart is saddened. But be not sad, my beloved, be joyous and unafraid, for within you is the song that shall shatter the silence, the flame that will burn away the dross. It is you that are the Redeemer of sin and sorrow, of guilt and shame. You, woman, O splendor incarnate, how long have you served in chains, a slave to the lust of pigs and to the guilt of pigs? How long have you withered under the foul degradation of your holy name, whore, or suffered silently under the infamous degradation called virtue? How well have you known the stake, the rack, the whip, bar, chains, imprisonment, entombment in the service of your master? And was the bond fear, and was it weakened? Was it cowardice or inferiority? Oh, shame of man, it was none of these, it was love. A man was crucified in redemption that failed, yet were 10 times a million men crucified. This infamy were not redeemed. Priest, father, husband, lover, jailer, judge, executioner, despoiler, seducer, and destroyer. This has been your lover, your master, a woman defiled. But there is an end and a beginning, and the beginning and all the future is with you. For you are the mother of a new race, the redeemer and the lover of the new men and the men that shall be free. Now I speak to you of men. Men desire three things of a woman: a mother greater than themselves, and a wife lesser than themselves, and a lover equal with themselves. Again, the mother they are ever in revolt, and the wife they hold in contempt. I lost my fucking place. The lover ever eludes them. Consider the husband and how he hates the woman and flees, fearing that he will slay her. Consider the great lover, how he grasps for love with the hands close upon nothingness. These are bewildered, frightened children playing games in the dark. And those who wear brass and swords will strut and slay, and they are the most frightened of all. Therefore pity, therefore forgive them. In the ancient world, there were men for a season. Then cities arose in leisure, the riddle of the Sphinx, and they turned to gilded pony jays, popinjays, gracefully accepting futility. Then Christianity and anodyne for slaves, and a enteric for barbarians whose deeds gave them indigestion, a whip for slave masters. Yes, Faust is the prototype of the Middle Age, but not the Faustus of whom Kit Marlowe tells. It is the darker Faust, the Gilles de Retz, the buyer who betrays the maid in his lust for power, then smitten prays to God in his chapel and ascends to all horrors in his cellars. It is the it is the voice of Voltaire, jaded, cynical, weary of folly, that sounds the opening bar of a tremendous and mocking prelude. Tom Paine, one man, one real man, broken at the last, betrayed by all the wooden champions. Cagliostro plotting the revenge of the Templars with a woman in a necklace. And Will Blake speaking uncomprehended with the tongue of angels. Shelley and the beautiful feudal justice and Swinburne that almost recreated Hellas before he too was broken. Byron, Pushkin, Gautier, all instruments in a prelude to a symphony that was never played. And science, how it was to save us, the brave new world of Huxley, Darwin, Hegel, and H.G. Wells, with only the voice of Springer to dissent. Science remaking the world an international language. A universal brotherhood beyond nationality or prejudice or creed. That house of cards, the beautiful vision, how it has fallen. The creators of the new age who dare not speak or think or move without permission of the military. Unboundaried titans who will hang for speaking across one border. Where is your new world? Champions, where is freedom? What has gone awry? A man can guess, but no man can solve. We must turn to a woman for answers. It was many thousand years ago, before histories were written, that change came. We must turn our memories even farther. Why can we not? Who sprang from these loins? Though it must be long ago, in the age of Isis, that is mistakenly called the matriarchy. It is not a matriarchy as we imagine it, the rule of club women or frustrated chickens. Ah, Melissa, awesome. I lost. You made me lose my place though. It is equality. The woman is a priestess, and her repose the mystery. She is the mother, brooding yet tender, the lover, at once passionate and aloof, the wife, revered and cherished, hunter, husband, lover, thinker, doer, the woman, priestess, guardian of the mystery, Sybil, the unconscious prophetess of dreams. Thus, balance and stability. Then, catastrophe untellable, the patriarch archetypified by the demonic monosexual monster, Jehovah. And then, in the role of priest, woman in an inferior animal and man in a superior god, isolated in the mercy of his mercilessness intelligence. It is a war. Total war without quarter between the emotions that must and the intellect that will. Every religion is the patriarchy, is a self-contradictory monstrosity. Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, Mohammedanism, fascism, communism, democracy, science, and every other faith of the historical world. It is dogma, creed, based on axioms that shift like straws in the wind of the intellect. And upon this shifting structure, man has failed. It must fail, for he knows the futility and fights for them with all the sick fury and frustration. He knows that he is a little boy playing with erector toys and chemical sets, playing cops and robbers in a game that goes too far. He has lost his mother. His wife fails him. His lover eludes him. The mystery has gone out of the temple and banished by senile and self-sufficient council of beards. Woman, woman, where are you? Come back, woman, come back to us again. Forgive and forget. Sit in our temples and take us by the hand. And kiss us on the lips and tell us that you love us. That we are not alone. Which woman out of the ashes of the stake rise again? You see, it was the Dianetic cult, the Dianic, not Dianetic, the Dianic cult that the old way continued. Those splendid and terrible women, Messalina, Tofana, La Vosin, and La Virasa, took magnificent revenges, and other women and men too sought the forbidden mystery in secret rites and purchased a brief reunion at an awful price. This was the hope of the Maid of Orleans, the hope of hopeless millions that at last was come. This woman who would redeem them. May her fate and her failure teach you the innocence of no protection. Be cunning, O woman, and be wise, and be subtle, and be merciless. I have said, understand, and forgive. Forget, but forget not overmuch, thus nothing but yourself. I have spoken to the great poisoners, but there is a worse revenge, knowing that all revenge is revenge on self, and most terrible that it is taken by the frigid woman. Count her in the millions and in the 10 millions, and heed not what she tells her husband or her lover, and heed well what she tells her intimate, her doctor. But with the many, the cause lies deeper, and it lies in two things: the failure of her mate to be a man. My dreams are fine, bro. I actually never even remember them. In her failure to be true to herself, and in the black murderous guilt with which parents poison their children. And this is a cause of frigidity. Their suppressed incestuous love, the fear of disease and of children. But you who have known something of these things have no shame. Therefore, strength is not born, it is gained by understanding and overcoming. Then go free and sing old wild songs. Evo Io, Evo Ictus, Iopan, Iopan Evio, Babylon. Go to the mountains and the oceans and the forest and go naked in the summertime, that you may regain the old joy and love gladly and freely under the stars. But by the body is not beautiful, and here is a secret. The body is bottled by the mind. Embrace fear and repression and hate, and then look upon the body. Or rather, do not look upon it, but go free and love, joyously, without restraint, and run naked a little. Then watch the cheeks flush and the breasts swell, the supple contours, the flowing rhythm. All disease and deformity are bred in fear and in hate. Therefore, O woman, you are called healer. Woman, priestess of the irrational world, irrational but enormously important. And how deadly, because it is unadmitted and denied. We do not want to be drunken, murderous, frustrated, and poverty stricken. And miserable without cause. These things are not responsible for, are not reasonable or scientific, yet they do exist. And we say we do not want war, but the cause of war but the cause of I'm sorry, I'm trying to get through this. We say we do not want war, but the cause of war is a psychological necessity, and war will continue until that necessity is otherwise fulfilled. We do not avail in saying that we will love this person or hate that person because it is reasonable. We are moved willy-nilly, despite our reasons and our will, forces out of the unconsciousness, the irrational world, and forces that speak to us in dreams and in symbols, and we are our own incomprehensible actions that would only be redeemed by understanding. Whose name is this woman? Only after understanding can will and intelligence prevail, and after they are otherwise no more than blind and self-destructive forces. Woman, oh, here we go. Oh, I gotta get ready for it, bros. Woman, put up unworthy weapons and put up malice and poison, false frigidity and false stupidity, and draw the sword, the two-edged sword of freedom, and call for a man to meet you in fair combat, a man fit for your husband and fit for father and fit for your eagle brood. Call upon him and test him by the sword, and he will be worthy of you. For you two are the archetypes of the new race. Somewhere in the world today is a woman for whom the sword is forged, and somewhere there is one who has heard the trumpets of the new age, and who will respond. And she will respond, this new woman, to the high clamor of those star trumpets, and she will come as a perilous flame in a devious song. A voice in the judgment halls, a banner before enemies, and she will come girt with the sword of freedom. And before her, kings and priests will tremble, and cities and empires will fall. And she will be called Babylon, the Scarlet Woman. For she will be lustful and proud, and she will be subtle and deadly, and she will be forthright and invincible as the naked blade. And women will respond to her war cry, and they will throw off their shackles and their chains, and men will respond to her challenge, forsaking the foolish ways and the little ways. And she who will shine in the ruddy evening star, in the bloody sunset of Godarmu Durang, will shine again in the morning star. And when the night has passed, and the new dawn breaks over the garden of Pan, to you, an unknown woman, the sword is pledged, and to keep the faith. And that's it. I thought that was a good thing to read. This weekend where like Captain Marvel is showing up. And everyone's talking about her breaking new ground in this movie and all of this nonsense. I thought this is a really good thing to recapture, because I know we've done this on the podcast before, but I love it, man. That part at the end, it gets me going, and I get fucking goosebumps on it. So I'm John. Check out theambercast.com. If you like podcasts, man, check it out. Like, it's the best fucking thing going on. And that's it. Hey, Asher, thank you for all the comments. I wasn't able to get to them all as you were doing them. I'm going to go back and look at them later. I appreciate it. Game of Thrones is a month away, man. I got it fucking clicking down on my shit. I'm waiting for it. So thank you. I got many cameras, so I'm like thanking everybody. And yeah, I appreciate it. I love this, and I think it's the best thing that I could do for this International Women's Day and all this. So, all right, I'm out. Anybody got any questions, comments? You want to tell me I'm fucked up? I pronounced something wrong? Now's the time to tell me. I will sing Meatloaf songs until you answer me. Paradise by the Dashboard Lights. Here we go. You can never talk about Fight Club. You should never talk about Fight Club. It's the worst. You can't even do it. All right, man. I'm gonna go do. What am I doing tonight? Yeah, Meatloaf is in Fight Club. I get it. No, I get it. um, have you seen those, like the live Meatloaf videos from Bad Out of Hell 1? They are so crazy. Yeah, what am I doing for dinner tonight? We're doing. I've become obsessed with Jimmy John's. So I'm making Italian sandwiches and baguettes. I've never bought a baguette before this evening, but I bought a fucking baguette, so we're gonna do it up. All right, everybody. Good night. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. And over and out. I can never find it because this other thing.